Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Terrence and Jill.
Hey.
Coming to you with another video.
Yes, this one is a hot one because we want to know, women want to know from the feedback that I've been getting, women want to know what happens when a man is not ready. And you being a man, a 53-year-old man, I know you've been in some situations where you weren't ready or you knew what that means. I know you know what that means. So, baby, can you please break it down to us? What does it mean when a man is not ready, when he says he's not ready?
Okay. Well, speaking from my personal experience and being a man, there's just a few occasions, a few different things that a man means when he says that he's not ready.
Okay.
And the first I would say is when a man looks at you, he knows he's marrying up and he really feels he's just not where he needs to be to give you the lifestyle that he portrays in his mind that he needs to be able to give you. Mm-hmm. So that can be him needing that where he can afford to buy a house or, get the right vehicles or just be able to have the money in the bank that he thinks he's supposed to have in order to be able to be in a successful marriage. Because, we hear from our parents all the time, raising a family and getting married takes money. Mm-hmm. So one thing a guy would say he's not ready is because he hadn't reached that pinnacle where he's got that type of money in the bank or he's purchased those possessions that he feels he needs to have in order to give you the type of life that he wants you to have.
Yeah, and I just feel like, for a lot of women, we'll say, well, I don't need that. I don't want that. But I think for us, we have to allow you to become that responsible man in the mindset and the way you think that you should be a responsible husband. No, I shouldn't say man, husband. And we got to allow you room to do that because, you may have looked at your parents. There just may be some right. core values that, yeah. And right. So at that point, we've got to say, okay, all right. So what's the second reason?
Well, let me elaborate on the first as well. One thing you're going to hear me say a lot, and I'm going to be referring to it over and over in this video most likely, and that is, first thing I would say is that everybody, men and women should both look to God first. Mm-hmm. You got to have God involved. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because there are things God is going to help clarify for you, and he's going to help navigate you through all the storms and through all the issues that's going to help you get ready for marriage. Because mm-hmm. some people just want to do it because, especially women, you guys say your biological clock is ticking and you're getting close to that time where you feel, in my mind, when I was growing up, I was already going to be married by this time. Right. I was already going to have children by this age, and it hasn't happened yet. So now you're kind of in a rush. Well, you also just remember this is a process, mm-hmm. and it's about you and another individual mm-hmm. really being in sync with each other and being meant to be together for mm-hmm. each other. So, if I can tell you anything, put God in your life first so he can help mm-hmm. navigate you through that minefield and help you on your journey to reach what it is you're actually trying to reach.
Right.
Now, to get back to what we were just talking about, I would say, you have to, women, please know your men. Mm-hmm. Don't go and think to yourself that you know what he means if you don't. Don't read into it. We grew up learning that women are more mature than guys. And so you may have dealt with some of these things that he still haven't dealt with, especially if this young man is in his early 20s. Mm-hmm. Maybe he's still mentally, he hadn't come into his manhood yet right. and understand that he can get a house mm-hmm. by working with his woman. Mm-hmm. He can get that nice car by working with his woman. Mm-hmm. Sometimes he just don't know that yet because he's never mm-hmm. been in that situation and he hadn't grown up to that point yet. Mm-hmm. So you have to understand the guy that you're with.
Right. And I think, and we still on number one, but yeah. I just still want to tell you something because you mentioned about being in your 20s, and those of you who are in your 20s and you ready to be married, one of the the patterns that I've noticed throughout my family, through my personal situation, through friends. When there's their age, like between the age of 28 and 30 and 31, where a man is going into his quote unquote his maturity. And so a lot of breakups happen at that around that age because there becomes a disconnect. It seems like men, start to say, okay, I got to man up now. And they realize that the woman is already, for whatever reason, she's there or she feels like she's there. But he feels like at this age, I got to now go to another level of maturity in myself, within myself. And sometimes it can be a disconnect and that's what happens with a lot of relationships. That's why they break up around that age. All right. So what's number 2?
Number 2, I would say is, you're going to have these guys that are driven by their job and that they wanting to get to a certain level. They wanting to reach to where they're making a certain type of money. So right now he's just driven. And in his mind, he's saying, I'm not ready because I haven't reached that particular job. I haven't become the manager, or I haven't become the owner of my business, or whatever he has in his mind and his personal goals. And he is just driven. And you're going to know that usually because the guy's always working. When you met him, he was working. Now that you're with him, he's working. And in some cases, he may have picked up more work, more hours, because now he's looking at you thinking, man, I want to marry this woman, but I really need to give her something to be proud of. So I need to reach my goals. I hadn't got there. And he's just all the time talking about working. Even when you take days off so you can be with him. And he's like, well, baby, I appreciate that, but I got to go to work, And so, he's just driven. So right now, that's not on his mind. His mindset is, I got to get to this point before I know I'm going to be able to get married, so I don't have to worry about working all these hours later. Right. So so that's hard. And
then on to piggyback on that one, which is the reason why I believe is that we have to come to a relationship whole. And let me just say, I ain't trying to act like I got all the answers now because I got this man. I ain't trying to, but I am 50 and I have been through enough relationships to now realize, oh, well, that's what happened. And this is why this didn't happen. Well, anyway, at the end of the day, God had his plan. But it goes back to where, that's why we got to be whole first. It's, coming to a relationship, because the last thing we want to happen is that we get in a relationship and you have not reached your career goals or your pinnacle, and you feel like I'm holding you back. Or I feel like I see a lot of marriages, a lot of relationships, people in their 50s now, 40s and 50s, and they feel like now I want to go back. The woman feels like now I want to go back and get my groove and go to school and start a business. And these are the things that should have happened before, because now it doesn't work for the dynamic of the relationship. And so I was watching Married to Medicine, and it was one of the doctors. She wanted to change her entire career, her practice, the type of medicine she practiced. Well, it required her to go to school in a different state. Well, that would have been wonderful if she did it in the beginning, but it caused a friction in her marriage because they had small kids. And so, and her husband is a doctor. So it's like, okay, but then the wife might feel like, okay, you're holding me back from pursuing my purpose. It's like, okay, well, that's why it's important for us to do it while we're single, because, and of course we're going to grow to the part in our age and, we might want to do something once we're together. But I guess at the end of the day, if he says he's not ready because he's trying to pursue some career goals or some professional goals, maybe we need to take a step back. All right,
here's what I would say. That's why I just told you a little earlier. I'm going to mention this throughout this entire video. That's why you got to have God in your life. Right. Because he can help you navigate through this. Because God knows how to plan it. He knows how to work it out to where it's still going to benefit the both of you. If it's meant to be for you guys to be together, he can work it all out. So what I'm telling you is, if there's anything I can share with you, it's always going to be to seek God's advice and to seek his leadership and his guidance. So, So that's what I would say to that.
So do we got a third reason?
Yeah, I for the most part, there's probably 4 general reasons why a guy would say he's not ready, and everything else would probably fall within those 4 areas. So, well, we hit 2, right?
So
The
what's
third one would probably be, and this is probably the one that you really need to pay attention to, especially for the guys that are younger, in their early 20s and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, the guy just ain't ready to get married because he's still in his young stages. He's still wilding. He's still going to the clubs all the time. He still feels like, he needs to do his thing. His being free. He don't want nobody restricting him. He wants to be able to go hang out with his boys when he wants to. He just hasn't matured into his manhood yet. So when you're telling him, you think that this guy is he's everything you wanted. You want to talk serious about, well, am I investing my time in something that's going to equate to me getting married later? And he's like, look, why are we bringing this up? We got together. We were young. We was having fun. I'm still trying to have fun. Why are you trying to get serious? Well, the reason is he hadn't grown into his manhood yet. He's still being that young teenager that carefree, don't care, he ain't thinking about nobody right now. He ain't trying to have no family, no responsibilities with a wife. So that's the one you really, out of the 4 ways, I would say, that's probably the first or second person you really need to pay attention to. The other 2 that I just already named, those other 2 reasons, those people, you can work things out with them, because if they haven't made the money they're trying to make yet, if they haven't reached their career goals, they still could be the right one for you. They just feel they need to accomplish those things first. But this guy here, I would say, you know what, you might want to really sit back and decide whether or not, just by the way he's treating you, and he's not giving you the time of day, and you're trying to make plans, and he's trying to do things with the boys and always invite the guys over and then want you to cater and all this other stuff. You might want to sit back and decide, is this really the guy you trying to spend the rest of your life with? Because right now it's evident that he ain't ready.
Right. And I think that type of guy, because unfortunately they're in their 40s as well, not just in their 20s. But I think that type of guy, more than likely, he has already had his first heartbreak, and he's closed. He's closed. His heart is closed. It's blocked, and he just wilding out. He's sowing his oats and all of that, his wild oats, and he really don't want to be attached in that way right now. He's not ready to open himself up, because guys, they get their heartbreak at when they're 16. And sometimes it takes forever to open that thing back up. But anyway, so yes, okay. So I understand that type of guy. I've experienced that type. So what's the 4th one?
The 4th way is very close to the guy that I just described. The only difference is this guy can be at whatever age. This guy he's going to say the same thing. I'm not ready. But what he's really saying is, this particular guy, he's really saying, you're not the one.
That hurt me.
And here's the thing. And for you women that's saying, well, how can we recognize this? Just like with the previous guy that I just described, there's going to be times where you're going to be, women have this thing of making plans for us. So, the mature guys, we already understand that. We know even when we're not married, when we're dating, we know we're going to come home from work and she's going to say, oh my God, we got plans. We're going to go eat with my friends or with this couple and this and that. We already know that's going to come, but when you with the guy that really is with you, but he don't see you as being the one for him, he's going through the motions.
He ain't gonna make that time for you.
And when you sit here and say, well, baby, we got such and such coming over. They, going to eat with us tonight, or we're going to do this weekend. He's like, well, I'm not available. Well, I got to do this. I wish you'd have checked with me earlier because I'm doing this. See, he's already made plans for himself. He ain't thinking about you. And it's bad to say, and it's going to be late before you realize this. But when you do see him, like with the next woman, he may be, when you see him a year later with someone else, he may say, well, I'm engaged. She's my fiance. Or even something that may hurt you even worse. I hate to say it like this, but you may have been planning, you've been wanting to have a child. And the whole time you've been talking to him for years and
he
years
said, I
about
don't
having
want
a
no
problem.
baby.
And it's like, baby, the time ain't right. It ain't the
I don't
right
want no
time. And I'm not
baby.
ready. I'm not ready. And then all of a sudden, y'all break up. You run into him a year later, and he's got a child
baby.
that's walking and another one in the arm, or she's pregnant with the second one. And you're sitting there thinking, oh my God, what? You told me that you wasn't into. No, I didn't want to have a baby with you.
That's the
And
hard pill to
that's a
swallow.
hard pill to swallow. But that's why it's so important, one, that you have God in your life, so he can help guide you in the right direction, because God will know this. He's going to know that man's heart. He's going to know your heart. He's going to know whether or not that's who he has for you. But more importantly, you need to also, well, his name more importantly, but the next thing that's important is you got to know your man. Ladies,
you gotta
take
know
your
that
time.
man. Yeah, because he might not be your man.
Know the guy that you're with.
Guy. Are
Take
you
the
willing
time,
to
yes.
make this investment in this? Because
Yes.
at the end of the day, all four of those scenarios, the woman has the choice.
Yes. God gave us all free will. And at the end of the day, every time you have that conversation and he says, I'm not ready. Now,
whatever reason.
Regardless of the reason, exactly. Regardless of the reason, you as an individual still have free will. You have to start deciding whether or not, in spite of what he said, I'm going to choose to stay with him. Maybe we can work it out. Maybe he ain't the one for me. You still have to make that choice as an individual. And if you choose to stay with him, just understand you may need to stop arguing with him about when the time's going to be right. Because he continuously tells you that the time ain't right. And regardless of what his reason is, you may feel like, you know what, Lord, I've been giving this guy my time. I've been with him for 3, 4, 5 years, and the time still ain't right. You may. That's why I keep reiterating. You got to have God in your life, because he can help tell you. Because
at the end of the day, I think what happens for a lot of people is, for women and for men, well, mainly for women, when the guy says he's not ready for whatever reason, that is a key signal that God is saying, I want your attention for a reason. I want to. It's basically saying, God is saying, he ain't ready, but you ain't ready either. I'm trying to prepare you for whether it's going to be with him or not. And so I think the focus should not be on him being ready or not being ready, or when he's going to be ready. It should be really focused on, God, what are you saying to me? Because,
God. The one thing about having God in your life, like I said, and I can't share with you how important this is that God will clarify things for you.
Yeah.
He will show you things.
In dreams, in signs.
He will,
prophetic
when you're in the car
word.
by yourself,
Just
turn the music off. Yeah, turn the music off sometime and just listen to what the Holy Spirit's telling you. And God will share things with you and clarify things with you. Because sometimes, don't get me wrong, that guy might be what you think is everything you need. And God is saying, but you don't understand. 5 years from now, I need you to be with the guy that's going to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H, because of what's going to happen 5 years from now that I have for you. So, and right now, you're not ready. You're not ready. He's not ready. Or he's not the one. And sometimes you just have to put your faith in God, because that person might be a distraction between you and God. And God can't work with you and help you get prepared for not only what he has in store for you, but also who he has in store for you, because this person is distracting you from God's attention. Right. So, so to me, like I said, when guys say they're not ready, ladies, and I hear this all the time. He's using me. He misinformed me. He misled me. All of these things. But I'm telling you, as a man, we are so simple that it's ridiculous. That you guys sometimes overthink things because you think it's complicated. And it really isn't. The guy's telling you from day one, baby, when we first met, we agreed that we was going to be casual. We was going to be together just to have
But that
fun.
messes up the narrative that messes up the love story in our mind. So when you not being ready is just messing it up.
So you have to listen to what he's saying and don't think that there's some complicated, elaborate scheme. Just take him for what he's saying at his word. Because when you come back a year later, 2 years later, I'm telling you as a man, I had to do it. Didn't we say we was going to be this? And you're like, well, 2 years is gone by, 3 years gone by. When are we going to go to the next level? Then we're going to say automatically, and I know some of you ladies have already heard this, we're going to say, why you messing things up? We've been having a great time for the last 2-3 years. Now you want to mess it up. Why you keep trying to bring stress? And why you keep adding more pressure? Why you keep, when we agreed to do. See, men, that's why you have to watch what you say to a man and what you agree to with a man when you first meet him. Because he's telling you where he is, what season he's in, and what part of his life he's in when you first meet him. When he says, I'm not looking for nothing serious, I'm just looking to chill, have some fun, somebody to kick it with. 5 years from now, you're going to be like, well, when we going to the next day? Look, when we met, what did I tell you? And it's 5 years later. So I'm telling you,
chill out.
You have to understand what we're saying when we say it, because it's going to come back on you later, and then you're going to feel bad because when he throw that out there at you, he's not going to throw it out there like he's trying to protect your feelings. He's going to throw it out there because he's irritated and he's tired of you asking. Now he's going to hurt your feelings when he say, look, didn't I tell you 5 years ago that I wasn't ready to get married? Especially to you. Then you're like, well, he's been trying to give you those, he's telling you this the whole time.
Right.
Please, please, please.
Right.
Listen to what he's saying.
Right.
Listen.
Right. And so I'm glad you said the part about, I forgot the part you said. Basically, it's all about not being ready. But I wanted to also say, because it's not like all of a sudden you get the man who's quote unquote ready, and it's levels to this. My sister friend Dinita said it so perfectly. There's levels. She's been married for years. She said there's levels to this. Because, for instance, we're in the season now. We're in engagement season. We're not ready to be married yet. Now, of course, he'll tell you, I'll marry you tomorrow. We can go to the Justice of Peace. But, we want a wedding, and that is a process. So, technically, we're not ready right now. We're preparing to merge assets. We're still, so it's not like, when you're single, if you're single and you feel like something's wrong with you and why I'm not ready. And every stage of your life, whether you married for 10 years, 15, 20 years, there's always going to be a season or a period of not ready. It just always is. God's going to always take us to a process where we've got to get to another level. So, but that was awesome, baby. Yes. I hope this gave some clarity.
I hope it does. I mean, because like I said, only thing it's going to help you do is at least have a conversation. Because I'm going to tell you, if she and I were together and I told her that I wasn't ready, and the reason is because I'm trying to get this promotion, I'm trying to get to a certain level, or I'm trying to make a certain amount of money so I can give her the life that God is telling me to give her, then guess what? When she asked me, well, why aren't you ready?
I didn't do that.
We can have that conversation.
Me, I ain't never look. I'm enjoying the ride.
But I'm just saying, we can have that conversation because those guys aren't gonna. They might be a little nervous because they don't want to feel ashamed that they don't make the money that they want to make, or they're not at the position, or it's taking them a little longer to get there. But you, as their woman, you can ask them just politely, well, baby, what is it going to take for you to be ready? I mean, I know you're pushing for this promotion. I know you're working all these hours. What is it that you're striving for so we can be in agreement to get you there? That way, maybe you can get there a little faster now that we're working together on getting you there. Maybe we can save money faster if we're saving together. So maybe we can do. But if you just keep taking what he said, I ain't ready.
I'm going to give you 2 more years. I'm going to give you 1 more year.
And you're telling your girlfriends, girl, if he ain't ready by next year.
If he ain't ready, girl, you better let him go.
Next year turns into 2-3 years. All you doing is hurting yourself because this man is telling you every single time you ask him
if you really want.
he ain't ready.
He ain't ready.
You know, just understand who it is you're with. Slow your roll. Take your time so you can see the signs that he's giving you. Because I'm telling you, the one thing that I can honestly say, and every man on earth, I can almost say 100% would agree with me, is when a man truly wants to be with you, he's going to make time for you.
He's going to make it
time. He don't care what's on his schedule. Some getting canceled, some getting moved around, something just going to, you know what, I'm just going to have to put this off. Why? Because I'm coming to see you. So you're not going to have to worry about that guy that really wants to be with you because he's going to probably want to be with you more than you want to be with him. Girl, I wish he'd go spend time with his boys. I wish he'd go, go to the sports bar and watch the game. Why you got to bring all his friends to the house? Well, because he is in love with you.
And he wants,
and he wants to spend every moment with
but
you.
he just may not be ready to be married yet for whatever reason. So,
absolutely.
So that's awesome. Well, I'm great. We did it.
Yeah.
So thank you, baby.
I hope this has been some clarity for some of you. And I hope some of you it's been like a sign to say, just step back a little bit and take some type of
jump ship. Jump ship, baby.
Well, I'm telling you this.
You got the choice. The choice is yours.
The choice is yours.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, whether he says he's ready or whether he puts a ring on it tonight, I'm telling you, include God in everything you're doing.
Seek God about it.
And he's going to just clarify a lot of things for you. At least you're still going to have some doubt in some things because you're going to go through trials and tribulations every day, all the time. But what you will know is you'll have a sense of knowing that, peace. He's got it.
Yeah, he's got it. And I'm at peace with it.
Absolutely.
Whatever. If it's him, it's him. If it's not, I'm over here doing my thing. I'm like, because I need to go back and read the book of Ruth because we really don't know how long Ruth was in the field. And so just go and do your thing. Go build your online business. Do your thing. Build your life.
Yes.
So that's it.
Absolutely.
We'll come back next Saturday, of course, with another video. If y'all want to hear something and, talk, I do want to talk about Providence next time. So, all right.
Deuces.
That's it. Y'all be blessed. Deuces. Bye-bye.